yeah, it kind of feels like we're starting to get to the matches now where even in round 1, there's a little bit of kind of like hesitation to pick a favorite, you know, as we will start off. We're ready to go in the top right from the Shopify Rebellion, our blue Protoss player, Harstem.
And his opponent, down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, it's a MilkiCow. I was briefly talking to Harstem this morning, and he mentioned that he is feeling pretty good about this particular match, but there's always a chance, right, that there's going to be a curveball of some sort, that there is going to be some sort of attack that he's not quite prepared for, because MilkiCow is definitely no stranger to throwing those strategies out there.
Okay, he's not quite prepared for anything right now, mate. Dropping now the pause. It's on a couple of moments. As,
How do I make it so there is no mineral field when I click on the minerals?
Oh yeah, that's an option. So like when you mouse over the minerals, it says mineral field like as a text box. Sort of like when you mouse over MilkiCows and like units, it says MilkiCow, you know?
Ah, that's got to be one of the gameplay settings.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, these guys, they do play on completely fresh accounts when it comes to this tournament. These accounts are like officially their tournament accounts, essentially, so it's very possible that their settings are not completely set up as maybe they should be. And, yeah, maybe there's something a little bit there to, you know?
No clue. Cool. Okay, go.
Yeah, referee clearly didn't know either, so yeah, we're just gonna get back into it. MilkiCow in the bottom left is gonna have mineral fields on his minerals, but I feel like that's one of those things where I shouldn't. Oh, it's the enemy selection. Oh, he figured it out. Good job, MilkiCow.
Ah, well, that is definitely a setting you need to have on. That is actually one of the settings that you do have to change when you have a new StarCraft account, because it turns out by default it is not possible to select your opponent's structures, which is maybe nice for new players, but as a pro gamer, you want to be able to see if that's a Stargate or a gateway.
Yes. No, you want to be able to know that that sort of stuff is happening, so I'm kind of, you know, one of those things you should kind of be, you know, on top of early, play a couple games in a tournament account. There's a good reason to do that. As a few pros come in and the SCV is going to get chased around. I'm just going to go for that for a couple of moments.
Cheeky little engineering bay block right here just to make things extra annoying. This is one of those builds that Protoss players play against all the time, but it's not their favorite, right? Like, it's not an uncommon strategy. It doesn't really put you behind or anything. At least nothing all too significant, especially if you kill the SCV. Okay, well, he gets it. A little bit too greedy right there by MilkiCow. It's just annoying, right? It just throws off your build a little bit, and it's like being forced to take your third base rather than your natural expansion as Zerg. It's just a bit frustrating.
Yep, no, absolutely, as we just have ourselves the Nexus now gets to go down on location, so Harstem being able to deal with this nice and quickly is definitely a big win for him. He should be very happy about that, and we'll be able to move on from there.
Okay, so what exactly is the build order going to be right here for Harstem? We're going to see what he's going to plant down. Should be a Stargate, I would imagine. There it goes. Stargate inside of the main base of the Protoss player, and MilkiCow, well, he's going for a second Reaper. Okay. What do you make of that, Wardy?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a MilkiCow thing to do.
Yep.
So, yeah, the sort of thing where, yeah, he just kind of gets like a little bit aggressive early. He tries to put on as much pressure as he can, and MilkiCow's just a very aggressive player. Like, don't be surprised if this kid ends up just playing mass bio and just dropping everywhere and trying to be absolutely crazy throughout. So, definitely a possibility. As a couple Reapers will join up, and they'll begin to make their way to the upper right-hand side.
Okay, so there is a nice little ledge right over here that can indeed protect Harstem. Positioning his buildings in such a way that he does not have those Reapers just go out of town in the main base right away. Is this one stuck? Oh, he's trying to...
It's actually stuck.
Is it stuck?
It's stuck.
Oh my god, it can't leave. He tried to move it down to the low ground. He threw a grenade on his own Reaper right there to try and unstuck it, but how did it get into that spot in the first place? So it walked in there and then couldn't walk out?
I actually think this is one of the maps where the Reaper ledge has been a little bit wonky, and we are playing on the ESL version, which means that they have, you know, put some changes in, and I think it was even more egregious beforehand that this would happen a lot of the time. But apparently that's going to happen really quite badly there, and that's unfortunate for MilkiCow losing a Reaper. That's one of those things that I'm sure is probably not going to happen again, because it's probably going to be fixed by tomorrow, if I had to guess.
Yeah, there's no way that is going to stay in. Because that seemed very unfortunate for him for sure. Either way, that now means that Harstem is going to have a bit of an easier time defending. He sends the Oracle towards the other side of the map, and he's starting to get some damage done inside of the main base of the of the Terran player, rather. A couple Widow Mines are burrowing right next to that Oracle as well, getting 5 SCVs, 6 SCVs, maybe a 7th one as well if he's not careful. In the meantime, a Widow Mine drop on the other side of the map, getting deflected.
Yep, that's actually great. Gonna get shut down without doing anything. The medevac will die here as well. Harstem, this is a great start, man. You're gonna completely shut down the Widow Mine drop. You've killed 6 SCVs. It's kind of funny because a lot of the time nowadays you think Oracle's not really meant to kill SCVs, as silly as that seems. It's kind of more for the scouting, right? And if you get some SCVs, great. But to get 6, Oracle full HP, and you take no damage back at home, that is absolutely incredible.
No, this is exactly what you're looking for as a Pro Tour player. So that third base is going to feel really good. He's going to go for the Twilight Council right now on the back of it too. MilkiCow is going to double down on the Widow Mine shenanigans. The problem is he's already seen the opponent's Phoenixes, right? This becomes a very risky move. Maybe he can bait the Phoenixes into those Widow Mines as well. That is always a chance, or always a choice, but we'll have to see.
Yep, no, absolutely. As we see ourselves, the Twilight Council, a couple of gateways all coming up. We just get ourselves settled in Harstem's base. I mean, I love that MilkiCow is sticking to his nature of like, hey, I'm ready to drop again, but it really didn't start well. And of course, the Phoenix style should be pretty bad for MilkiCow because the Phoenix are really good at deflecting these kind of drops. And Harstem just following it up with charge is very happy to play straight into what can be a very aggressive style. But more importantly, it can really stop MilkiCow from hitting any sort of timing on the follow-up, right? Because if you've got Phoenix charge lot, very few tank pushes are going to work. Now, that said, MilkiCow is just massing up mines, and that's maybe one of the things that could go well if you just get mines and a lot of bio. The mines can blow up a lot of the Zealots. Maybe there's some success there. Once more, though, the mines have done nothing as they get denied from dropping into the natural.
Well, right now, there's a little bit of a drop over at the third base. Getting those cleaned up too, and Harstem really on top of everything. I mean, only just one of those mines has to go horribly wrong, right? And we see that all the time, but... Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. 11 kills. Workers. Yeah, 11, 12. Now a couple more are starting to fall as well in the natural expansion. He pulled those probes back just ever so slightly too early.
That was a real caster curse, man. That was...
Yep.
Yeah, all you have to do is one thing to go wrong.
I shouldn't have said anything, Harstem. I apologize.
Yeah. Local bringing down the Dutch player, trying to be the best Dutch player. And I see how it is. Oh well, stim packing +1 on the way up as our charge building as well. We do load up a couple of mines, and they're going to go boosting across toward that main base. So heading in the next couple of moments here.
That was so unlucky right there for Harstem. He was doing an excellent job. He actually pulled those probes right at the right moment, but there was at the same time also a Widow Mine over in the natural expansion, right? And that just made it so difficult right there for him. And now MilkiCow is just going to double down on this. He's got a cheeky Widow Mine over at the third base. We still have the Phoenixes hanging out over in the natural, and they're flown over here. At least he's going to be able to get rid of it pretty easily using the detection range right there of that photon cannon, but... not quite as great a start anymore right here for the Dutch Pro Tours.
You know, the only thing I will say, though, is that this was not just one mine drop that killed 14 probes. This is 13 mines that have gone down, killing 14 probes, plus 7 SCVs killed by the Oracle, 2 medevacs, a Hellion and the 2 Reapers. MilkiCow lost a lot this game. And so Harstem is actually up 20 supply, and that really is just due to the fact that, yeah, okay, one Widow Mine was bad, but on average, he dealt with the Widow Mines very well. So yeah, he could have been in an even better position. But as it stands, his position is actually pretty good. Like, he's still in a pretty stable spot. It's just because MilkiCow's had so many attempts at hitting big with the mines, only one of them really did anything.
No, absolutely. This is still certainly a good situation right here for Harstem. So many Widow Mines just sprinkled all over the map, right? It becomes difficult to clean all of it up, but that's 2 more that end up falling. The Phoenixes are obviously important, but we are getting to the point where you don't necessarily need quite as many of them anymore. So if you can start trading out some of this army, it's not a bad idea. Ghost right now coming up, though, with MilkiCow, of course, securing that third command center. He's going to be able to at least get a decent economy going here and start thinking about some of those higher tier units. Combat shields, I was going to say, a little bit late, starts it up right now.
Yep, gets that combat shield started. A few ghosts continue now. That Bioforce will take the watchtower a little bit here for a few moments as well. So again, all of that on the way. Trying to see what it is we can do. And to just have MilkiCow. I mean, this is where I feel like Harstem shouldn't have issues. He's got so many Zealots. And if MilkiCow still had a lot of mines in his army, then great. He has 8, but not all 8 of them are here. He's got a lot spread out defensively back at home against the Phoenix. I actually think MilkiCow could be in trouble right now because there's not really retreating when Phoenix are involved. You can see him, he's going to lift up, he's going to go to the other side of the rocks. Probably the best retreat he could have had. The EMP actually hits the medevac, so they're now out of energy. No healing for that army, and medevacs have been dying. Health is going to become an issue very soon.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful here. Those Phoenixes are still providing a lot of problems right here for MilkiCow. And now suddenly, a massive Protoss army has made its way on over to the third base. There was an opportunity, I think, right there for Harstem to attack, but he decides to not really take any risks. He now has his fourth base up and running as well on the right side of the map. His economy is looking pretty stellar, and he doesn't really need to take any gambles. But I think there was an opportunity right there for him if he, well, really wanted to go ahead and charge ahead. It's just that this is not a particularly great unit composition to continue the game with, right? Like, you really do start needing those Colossi here very soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As that Prism comes back around, the Bio going to go for a set of rocks opening up right now and just going to go and pick through this already. His Mines and Bio and Ghost are just going to clear it up, and we get access to this bottom side of the map, so we will now be able to chase on towards that position as our CC takes a fourth as well. So MilkiCow not slowing down there. And Harstem just with some money to spend. If he spends that, he's going to maintain a pretty decent supply advantage.
Absolutely. MilkiCow though, pushing in right now on the right side as well. Widowmine over there getting some nice damage done. Colossus now is joining the fray, and that is super sweet here for the Protoss player.
Building two of them at a time as well, and once the Lance finishes, even better as Ghost actually out of energy. Zealots still have some good HP on them, some good shields. Maybe the choke point's a little bit too much. Phoenix will get a few lift-offs, though. Widowmine going to get the Phoenix in return, and Harstem really is chasing. The Zealots are still tanking up at the front, and honestly, these Phoenix continue through, and MilkiCow has to keep on retreating away.
Massive Zealot run by as well inside of the main base right there of the Terran player, so that is super annoying here. He did save most of the SCVs by pulling them nice and early, but that is still something that needs to be cleaned up here ultimately. Harstem, though, has in the meantime marched most of his units back home, so that does mean that most of these Zealots, I think all of these Zealots, are going to be killed.
Yep, and a couple of Widowmines going to go off. Everything's going to start getting cleaned out in the main base. But this obviously pulls everything back from MilkiCow, so Harstem can feel safe enough everywhere else. Missile turret not in reach to get the Prism there. And yeah, Harstem is just going to start taking the middle of the map a little bit for himself. So just, you know, if nothing else, removing a lot of the map control from MilkiCow. But I feel good as the Protoss player who's about to finish +2 armor, so his Zealot's going to be nice and tanky. And he just continues his way with further tech, the Blink being the next step. As 2 more Colossi finish, I feel like after this we should start to see Disruptors. 5 Colossi is already a little over there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If MilkiCow figures out exactly what he's playing against, he can start making some pivots as well in a direction where those Colossi are just not going to be quite as useful anymore. Fourth command center, though, now set up nice and pretty as well at the bottom of the map for some time already. He's building up the 5th command center. I mean, considering the situation we were in at the very start of this game, MilkiCow has done an excellent job bringing it all the way back over here. That's so many Colossi, man. All right, Widowmine drop coming in, and we do indeed, we see 1 more Colossus added into the mix. So it's going to be 6 in total. But we do see a transition right now towards the Disruptor play.
Yep, as you see army just going to come up this ramp. We are just going to push through. So a couple of different sides of the map going to be taking shots at the same time. All these SCVs running down to the bottom. Whoa. Well, that's a lot of workers going down extremely quickly. That's a pretty sight for a Protoss player, as the Bio, though, is going to drop into this base. And of course, MilkiCow still doing damage on the other side, but I just don't feel like he's got that much. It does mean he's got a bit of a more sizable force to defend with as well, though, so maybe there's something to be said there. Harstem looks as though he's not going to take any further damage, and he can still kill the base on the bottom side, so big win for Harstem here.
Yeah, absolutely. This base at the bottom is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's cleaned up the drop right now inside of the main base, too. That being said, though, we do have the, well, Marauder Viking ball here growing slowly, but I just don't think there's enough stuff right here for MilkiCow now. He's going to have to run away for sure. Still getting a bit of damage done on the other side of the map, but Harstem has been doing a good job deflecting that drop right there from the Terran with, well, just using his Warpins. Now Zealots once again are cleaning up the medevacs that have unloaded over on the right side of the map.
A little bit of Bio drops down. A couple of Zealots will get the Marauders. Marine is going to go down too. Just have ourselves the cleanup now. So MilkiCow has no more pressure to apply. He's obviously taking mega damage himself. I said 5 Colossi is overkill. In this case, it was actually great. They've had a chance to fight pretty much throughout. Now needs to be a little careful. I'm just skeptical that Marauders might actually get through the Stalkers. There's the Zealots that we need to defend. A couple Colossi left, but now only 1. And of course, this orbital lift back up, and Harstem not quite as convincing here as I thought he might be. Again, with the Zealots in front, stuff should start to look a little bit better for him at least. He's also got the aid of those Disruptors now.
He's got a lot of money in the bank. He must have missed a warp in or two right here during the last couple minutes of the game, because sitting right now at this much cash is not quite what you're hoping for. With, you know, an additional 8 zealots or so, this fight would have looked quite a bit better for him. Ultimately, though, this is still a good position for him to be in, but obviously MilkiCow is now, well, getting his reinforcements very close to this battle. Viking right there, desperately trying to get as many Colossi kills as possible. Disruptor rolling forward. It does get dodged for now.
Yep, dodging away. Our army going to continue through. We just see ourselves a couple more Vikings, SCVs, Ghosts all coming out, and this is going to be a push forward. Although Command has to lift off. Disruptor's going to fire through. We're just going to have ourselves the... Well, Bio continuing to fight. We are going to lose the Colossus now. The Disruptors are going to go down, and Harstem getting pushed back once again. The Warp in his Zealots is just too late to get there and to really tank for everything else.
MilkiCow trying to secure another base over here as well. Cheekily put down the gold during all of that. Another purification. Nope, gets dodged. This one, however, does get a massive hit. GG immediately.
GG immediately. No messing around in the end there. Harstem does close out game one. Man, this was such a wild one because it kind of felt like Harstem did everything he needed to. Then it felt like he made his life a lot more difficult. You know, it just felt as though the way the base trade went, I thought Harstem was going to smash through MilkiCow at the end, but MilkiCow put up a fight. Finally, a Disruptor just says, "Nuh-uh." Obviously, MilkiCow was in a position where, at the very least, one final blow was not going to be, you know... Yeah, he couldn't take, like, one big blow, and he took exactly that. And that is going to be G.
That was risky, though, man. Without the Disruptor hit right there, that was starting to look awfully close right there. Well, maybe even going into MilkiCow's favor, especially if he managed to secure that gold base. I like how during all of that aggression, he just flew over an orbital command towards the gold and started mining a little bit over there. It's like, I don't think this is the time and the place for it right now, but yeah, you never know if it works out. Maybe you just push back those units and you move in. You were talking about it earlier, Wardy. We haven't really seen a lot of Equilibrium, but apparently it's coming up next.
Oh, that's so interesting. TVP is probably the matchup I would expect it in, that or Mirrors, because it's very good for Zerg. It's not only big, but you can take a gold, if not as a fourth, then even as a third sometimes, you know, and you don't really get punished for it, so it's, you don't really get punished for it as a Zerg, but as opposing races, if you try and take a quick gold, it's got access on the other side, so it's even better for Zerg run-bys, actually. So this feels like the kind of map that we will probably see in non-Zerg matchups, maybe sometimes. In this case, we're going to see it here between Harstem and MilkiCow, so very exciting. Yeah.
I mean, third base, fourth base. If we're going to see this in the upcoming series after this one, I think Bly will be more than happy to take it as a natural if he has the chance.
Yeah.
But here we go. Equilibrium. Not a map we see all too often.
Nope, not a map we see all too often as we get ourselves ready for game number 2. And Harstem up 1. Looking to get himself a 2-0. Like I say, I feel like this is a, potential to be a scary series. And we saw it. This was not a clean walk in the park for Harstem. So again, a win here really puts you in a much better position moving into the rest of this Swiss group stage, as we have in the top left to start us off here will be the Red Terran, MilkiCow.
And his opponent, up here in the top right, it's Harstem. Tricky map for sure. Obviously, we have some different, symmetry in this map too, right? Normally it's like bottom left against, top right or vice versa. But generally speaking right here, it's a little bit different. The mirrors just work out a bit differently. But the golden base in particular is just what makes this map so tricky, right? It's difficult on this map too. Especially against Zerg, get a decent economy going. It's hard to punish them. Also, the map is massive. It feels ages to get across.
Yeah.
Just not a map we've been seeing all too much.
This one, I guess, is good for dropping, because you can at least just drop kind of main base to main base. It gets interesting if the forward base gets taken, like the triangular setup. It's hard to say. Just, it gets played the least, and so we haven't got a lot of kind of data to back it up, but just general feels is that, yeah, it might, like I say, the one thing I know is that anytime Zerg gets to pick this map freely with no vetoes, they pick it. For TVP, like I say, they kind of have been avoiding this one, so it's interesting.
All right, Harstem is going to be sending that probe across the map once again, scouting here to see what's going on. MilkiCow not going for the engineering bay block this time around. So that means Harstem is going to be able to take the expansion here after building that cybernetics core. It's going to be double gas right there inside of the main base as well of MilkiCow, who's now adding on his own factory. No unit coming out of the, okay, there we go, out of the barracks.
A very fast factory then, so he doesn't go Reaper immediately. He gets factory first, and then he goes Reaper, so really wants to push the factory timing. Awesome, we'll see that. And we'll be... Like I said, I wonder what exactly MilkiCow's plan becomes. He's mining with 2 workers on each gas, so he doesn't have pure gas income, but with the speed of the factory, it's possible he gets, like, a very fast starport here anyways. Oftentimes you expand after factory, but he already has the gas for a starport. He'll be able to put it down now if he wants to. He's also getting close to the money for an expansion, so let's see what he spends his money on. Let's see what his priorities are in this game. Widow Mine, and yeah, starport. So it is just going to be a very fast Widow Mine drop from MilkiCow. Probably one of the fastest you can get.
No, absolutely. Cutting a couple corners right here, delaying the Reaper, a unit that we see so very often, of course, in this matchup in the very start. Delaying everything just to try and get that Widow Mine drop going fast. And you already brought it up. The air-to-air space on this map is very short, all things considered. I mean, we've met maps with similar spawn locations in the past where the air-to-air distance is super short. It's still quite a bit of distance to travel, but on a map like this, I do kind of like it, yeah. Thing is, though, Harstem sees this coming in from a mile away, so how much damage can this really deal?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, right? If you roughly know that it's coming, know that this is a possibility, and you already see the Stargate finishing up. Harstem's going to be safe with the battery in the natural. He doesn't know exactly what the push is going to be, so he gets the battery for safety, and he's going to get an Oracle first, but yeah, in general, just the Stargate helps you to defend all these things. There's not going to be something that can really shoot down the Stargate units quickly, unless you naturally, you yourself fly into a Widow Mine or so. But there's nothing that can show
Armory as well on the back it is.
Oh my goodness, so cloak mines.
Yeah, cloak mines right now coming up here from MilkiCow. So even though he's been spotted, he's doubling down. I can respect it for sure, but this certainly has a chance to completely go horribly wrong right here for him. Going for the tech lab right now, though. All right.
Yep.
Maybe not as many Widow Mines as in game number 1.
Yeah, and you have a medevac of MilkiCow going to continue over to the upper right side. He's just going to go and commit it. So in we go. Like I said, this is where the Phoenix are going to be big, although we're only going to have one to help lift initially. We have one Adept in position, and, well, like I said, let's see what the decision is. There's even a couple of Marines, so it helps to complicate this a little bit, as we will see one probe going down to Marines, one probe to the mines. We do have the Widow Mines on the low ground burrowing up. Meanwhile, we have lost 5 SCVs to the Oracles. Yeah. So again, this Oracle finds so much damage.
Yeah, keep in mind, MilkiCow does not have an expansion nearly as quickly here as Harstem, right? He's only just now firing up the 2nd orbital command. So worker-wise right now, this is a fantastic situation right now here for Harstem. He's going to be able to kill that medevac as well. Can he lift up the mine? He can, so that mine is not going to be able to achieve all too much either. There's one more mine in the main base. It just now fired and did get a bunch of probes in the end, but certainly not a bad situation right here for Harstem. Now that the dust has settled a little bit, I think he's pretty happy with this.
12 worker leads. He's killed off, 500 more minerals of units, 200 gas more of units than what he's lost. It's very similar to the last time, only, we had that one really explosive mine last time. It's a little bit scaled down, less probes were lost, but also less loss from MilkiCow. And I just feel like Harstem comes out in an even better probe position because of that, so yeah, he's just going to be powering up. More Phoenix on the way, straight to 3rd base. We'll see what his follow-up is going to be. Twilight Council, so that's the answer. No Robo Facility or Robo Bay. He wants to go to charge once again, which, on a bigger map like this, just kind of getting the more speedy, active units like the charge lots, I'm into it.
Yeah, you put yourself pretty far behind Terran if you go for this sort of opener and it doesn't really do a lot of damage. I mean, you're cutting a lot of corners, yes, to get that Widow Mine going real fast and to get the medevac out really early, but the expansion there was so late right there for MilkiCow, so only just now is when he really is going to be able to start powering out those SCVs 2 at a time, and that almost forces the Widow Mine opener to deal damage. Normally you're okay with getting a couple kills here and there, maybe getting a cost-efficient trade would be nice, but ultimately he didn't really kill that many probes. 8 workers in total would have been a whole lot nicer if in the meantime that Oracle didn't kill 5 SCVs as well. Alright, so Harstem going into the 3rd Nexus right now, adding on the gateways, going into charge.
Yep, and all of the gateways, like I say, he never really kind of had like a big timing or anything with charge because MilkiCow kind of kept building mines last game, so the charge never looked super scary. But it is genuinely like a very safe way to play. It really controls any army that comes across against you too quickly. Any tank-based army really doesn't have a good answer to that amount of zealots quickly, and even your tanks will get lifted by the Phoenix. So we'll see what MilkiCow's options turn into. He is building mines again, so I think he's approaching it in the right direction. The more mines you have, the less likely Phoenix Zealot on its own is going to get the job done, and that will force a transition from Harstem.
MilkiCow going into the snip back. Combat shields plus 1 infantry weapons, what we normally see in a game of StarCraft 2, but Okay, fires up the third CC. I was gonna say, where exactly do you go from here right now as the Terran player? Do you want to try and go and commit to this all in? Maybe try to get some damage done on the other side of the map? Instead, we now have a very late third CC as well. It all becomes a little tricky, right? Like, by the time you can finally think about landing that third command center, there's gonna be so many Protoss units out as well. What exactly can you do here?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like probably not too much, as we just have our Bioforce and MilkiCow going to begin moving further forward out onto the map. He is going to go for a little bit of a push, then he is going to try and see what it is he can get up to, but I'm not sure he's really going to find too much possibility. We just have ourselves the Bioforce coming around, a couple Widow Mines on Burrow and Cyclone getting set as well, and a few Phoenix in the Oracle. They're just going to go and sit on that right-hand side still.
Zealot's ready for a little bit of a run by as well. Doesn't quite want to show them to this army that he just threw a revelation on. He knows that it's now sitting out in the middle of the map. Colossi are on the horizon right here for Harstem. He can't even be thinking about disruptors if he really feels like it. I think this is the right move, yeah. So MilkiCow did make a third command center, but now decided, okay, you know what? I don't think that's really going to work out all too well. I'm going to pull all of the SCVs, or at least a whole lot of them. I'm going to try and see if I can win the game right here. Good set of force fields, okay. Delaying this attack by, well, very valuable seconds. Couple of the Zealots now that we're ready to run by are now committed over there on the opponent's side of the map. The question here is, does MilkiCow have enough to obtain the victory?
I don't think so, man. Yeah, the force fields are buying so much time. First Disruptor's coming up as well, which is not going to be easy to dodge with everything. And yeah, the SCV pull is very smart because obviously it's going to tank a lot of the Zealots, and the whole point of the Zealots get on the Marines quickly. The Marines are not going to have a good time. We'll see what we do with this Disruptor shot. Might just use it to clean out Widow Mines, which would not be a bad call either, because Widow Mines obviously the bane of these Zealots right now. So he uses the Disruptor nicely. Still sees his units pushing forward, but then again, force fields are extremely good, and just gives Harstem a bit of a better chance of fighting this. There is the third base into fire, but MilkiCow's all in. Harstem can, again, use time to his advantage here.
Okay, there's another Disruptor. Yeah, just going for the safe and guaranteed damage, trying to shut down as many of those mines as possible. This army from the Terran looks big, but it's really only a couple of fighting units, right? Like, it's mostly just SCVs making up the bulk of this force. All of the probes from the third base, or at least the majority of them, they're hiding up north. There's not a Nexus coming up here as well, so even if this base ends up falling, which probably won't, Harstem is going to be able to find a new mineral line for those bad boys if the game goes on for long enough.
Yeah, Harstem there kind of dove forward, and maybe that was not quite the moment. That one tank shot getting a little bit of scare on Harstem's units here, as we do have the Bio continuing around, and another good force field. Man, the force fields have been great. Catching the units in front, splitting the units back, and just keeping them at bay. And yeah, Harstem's still kind of equal in army supply, but he's the one with a lot more probes, albeit maybe not all mining effectively straight away. He also has a lot of Phoenix energy. The only issue I have for Harstem is a lot of his army is sentries that now have no energy, so they don't really play much of a role. If he can just get a little bit more kind of actual firepower up and running, I think he really should be fine. And I kind of feel like, what if he just sends the Phoenix in, lifts a tank and a couple of Marauders? I actually feel like he's just overwhelmed.
Yeah. I don't think he really needs to. He just secured the gold base down south, so those probes just wandered through the middle of that army, just saying, hey guys, we're not going anywhere, don't worry about us. I don't think he really needs to take all too many chances here, but he is going to have to commit here at some point, right? He can't just keep taking the beating.
Yeah, the Phoenix will get a few shots off, not enough to really punish Medivacs dropping into the main base. MilkiCow has got his own third up. I mean, funnily enough here, their work account, right? 48 to 53 is obviously not bad for MilkiCow. The deficit of the gold may be sizable, but like his actual economy, considering he SCV pulled, is not bad at all.
No, absolutely. He lost so many workers with that attack, and ultimately we really need to see some Zealots on the other side to start working on those mineral lines right there. So yeah, Harstem is going to have to make a move here. So he does have a few Zealots right now, finally on the other side. They're going to start working here on maybe some of those SCVs. They're actually just marching to the natural. This is the first time he's going to see the third base. Maybe caught off guard just ever so slightly because of this.
Yeah, he's probably feeling a little bit like, oh man, really? You got a third base mining? It's like maybe if the main relocated, but yeah, MilkiCow actually finished that third base up quite a while ago. Tank goes down here. That's a good force field if you're not going to lift up in the Medivacs, which you will be able to do. I mean, try and run away. There's one low HP one. It will go down. There's actually another that will go down as well. Stalker's now getting Blink researched for them. Obviously, you don't really need Blink initially when you've got the Phoenix, but the Phoenix count's not been, huge for a while. So it is nice to now start getting Blink and something that can help out more versus the Sky units.
Absolutely. Now it's Harstem, who's finally feeling like he can get aggressive. This is obviously still not, you know, an amazing army for him here. It's always just a little bit awkward when you have 2 Colossi, but you don't yet have the range upgrade, so I don't blame him for waiting for just a little bit longer. Yeah, these games have actually been very close, man. Okay, yep. He's going to be able to get rid of those Widow Mines over here, and now there's nothing anymore on his side. For the first time in like 5 minutes, he can breathe without having a medevac somewhere, you know, in the top right-hand corner or hiding off to the side.
Yeah, Harstem's army supply actually took a serious lead now as well, so just you know, that gold base kicking in a little bit, not having to transfer probes around hectically throughout all of this as well. These things are adding up into now, obviously with 2 Colossi, now with range as well. He's just going to be terrifying on this side of the map. And now this third base, well, we're going to pull the SCVs to try and help. Disruptor is going to get targeted down. Bad positioning, honestly, from Harstem. He kind of went around the corner and gave MilkiCow the concave. Still probably absolutely fine. Looks as though Harstem does have the numbers. GG is called. And Harstem is going to take it as a 2-0.